I think my worst moment before I joined was struggling to understand like what the questions asked of me. While I initially struggled with like memorizing and like truly understanding a level, I think Mr. Charles' way of explaining the topics and all made it so that like I had like a deeper, like actual strong foundation of what I had actually learned, and I wasn't stunned when I saw certain questions pop up. I feel like the way Mr. Charles goes through questions like in his class and all, like it really helps you figure out like this is where you're supposed to apply this knowledge that you have learned previously, instead of just how I used to like learn a certain like fact, but then when it came time to actually do the questions, I wouldn't know how I was supposed to link them together. I felt that because Mr. Chua would go through how like the what we're learning will be applied when he was teaching us, it really helped a lot when it came to answering questions and realizing what the examiners wanted and how I should have approached a question. I think it was actually really helpful because like I felt that a lot of the reasons why I couldn't do really well was in JC2 was because my foundation for like my J1 was really weak, and a lot of the topics in J2 actually built upon that foundation in J1. I felt like learning them side by side not only helped me like revise them as I went along, because it was like a weekly reminder of the things that I've learned before, so that when it came time for exams, it didn't feel like I was rushing through everything that I've learned in J1, but more of like a quick recap of what I had already like established. I feel like it greatly increased like my confidence in my chemistry. I feel like I was really afraid of like touching like chemistry and doing work for it because I knew I wasn't really like good at it, and it was something I was really unsure of, which I think hindered like my progress for chemistry because I was sort of I didn't want to like study for it because it was something that I really like struggled with. I think Mr. Charles like classes like greatly improved my confidence for it, which made it way like a much more enjoyable way to like enjoy chemistry and not just understanding what it is, because it was something that I feel like the understanding and going through the lessons actually helped me greatly appreciate what I was learning. Aside from just for the examinations, I felt like learning actually became quite interesting, and knowing how like it applied to like our society and things like that, and how we actually use chemistry. I think that was a really big part of like Mr. Charles' lesson. It helped me really not be afraid when tackling chemistry. Even I felt like grades wise, my grades did improve, but it wasn't an extremely significant improvement. It did help my JC life a lot because I didn't feel as stressed when I was faced with chemistry. I feel like in JC1 I was extremely stressed when it came to like having to study and understand it. But in JC2, while my grades didn't improve and extremely a lot, I felt like my it overall helps my grades even not for chemistry because I wasn't as stressed when it came to studying for it, and it gave me like I think a better mindset when it came to studying for like my A levels and things like that. I felt like quite shocked when I saw my results at least, because I wasn't really thinking that I would actually score that high for chemistry. I actually like during that period of time, I actually allocated more time towards my other subjects because I didn't want to put my bets on chemistry at least, and I thought that I would have like a far higher chance of getting A's for other subjects. I think what actually really helped with the jump was that from prelim towards the A level periods, there was a lot of the intensive classes where Mr. Chua would go through like topics for within like 3 4 hours. Mr. Chua actually went through a lot of questions, and I think it really drilled my understanding for it in like a really short period of time. I think that was like the key reason for like my really big jump between my prelims to my A levels. I think the intensive classes really like round up all your knowledge and like present it to you in a way that makes it like really digestible and easy to understand. I think it also focused more on answering how to answer questions and common mistakes, which was a really key issue that I had struggled with previously. So I think because of that, I think that's why it allowed me to see like that jump from prelims and all. Like I feel like the intensive classes when we were going through questions, the ways and techniques to answer them and things to look out for, even if the same question wasn't going to show up, I knew how to like apply the skills that I had learned in my lessons to the questions in A levels, which allowed me to see that jump in a sense. I think people who like were initially like doubtful for chemistry, like people who didn't see the joy in learning chem in a sense. Because at least for chemistry, I felt like a greater like willingness to learn about it. I feel like people who were very skeptical of learning chemistry and were afraid of like touching it as a subject would get would like gain a lot from Mr. Trust's lesson, because it really helps you like understand like the subject on a deeper level. which makes it much easier for you to digest and not be so afraid of tackling this topic. Like, at least in classes and things like that, there's JC teachers often go a bit faster, takes like his time to go through everything in small details. So like something that Mr. Chua does is that when he goes through a topic, sometimes he links it back to other topics we've learned before and how they can like link together in like questions and things like that. I felt like it was really helpful to know how everything linked together and how like topics weren't a standalone thing and how like they could easily mix when we were faced in like questions and all. It didn't affect me very much because a few of the topics that we learned in JC1 were the ones that Mr. Chua did in JC2. When Mr. Chua went through them again, like it was actually really helpful for me because I like initially struggled with them. For me, I didn't, even though Mr. Chua was like lagging behind a bit compared to school, it didn't actually affect me much. I think it helped in the sense that like after I went through things in school, Mr. Chua would help reinforce it again, like a second time. And I felt like this second reinforcement of the topic actually helped me understand it and keep it and like actually consistently memorize what it was, other than instead of it being like a one time thing where I would remember it during the period of time it was taught and forget it later on.